The sultry sounds of Jason and Donny on Ktown Connects.
I like that. On this episode of Ktown Connects, we are going to connect with the Kenosha Today Breakfast Club, Uncle Scotty Barter and Elmo Steve Schneider. So stay tuned. Cue that music.
Kenosha, that great big busy town, right in the middle of the USA, between the New York Harbor and the San Francisco Bay. Where the wonderful East, the beautiful West, that's the right place to be from. Sing it so loud of it because we're so proud of it, Kenosha, our hometown. It could be a beer.
Welcome to the Ktown Connects podcast, the #1 local podcast in Kenosha.
Oh boy.
And I'm one of your hosts, Donny, and I'm here with my great friend,
Hi, I'm Jason.
Jason. A pleasure to see you today. I haven't seen you all day. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, I know. I've been waiting for this all day.
Yeah, this great episode with the Kenosha Today Breakfast Club show.
The novelty will wear off real quick.
So we're recording here at Luigi's Pizza Kitchen, located at 7531 39th Avenue. Order those pizza pies Tuesday through Sunday by calling 262-694-6565. You can order online and check out their full menu at luigispizzacitchen.com.
Yeah, Luigi's is great now, but we have to give a shout out because we talk about how we're here on Mondays, the dining room's closed, and the ovens are cold, so we don't have any pizza. And we always say, we really like a pizza. Well, today, Valeo's dropped over some pizzas for us, some cheesy bread, some pizza, and...
Doesn't get any better than that, Elmo.
Thanks to Luigi's for giving us a spot, but thanks to Valeo's for giving us some dinner.
They must have known the two most famous Kenoshians were coming in to be on the podcast, and they got to feed you guys, right?
You're trying to warm up the act, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So be sure to like Ktown Connects on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Check out our website at ktownconnects.com. Hit that subscribe button. Drop us a review and tell your friends about the hottest podcast in town, Ktown Connects.
Hey, Jason, I was wondering, do you get any new reviews?
We do, actually, Donny. We have a new 5-star review on iTunes, or Apple Podcasts, it's called. It's from D. White THCGDGHICI. Can you pronounce that?
No.
She
hates our show, by the way. Just telling you.
Must be one of those bots.
But she said, great micro-journalism feel. Donny spit up his beer.
Wow, thank you for that.
They say, I love local news, deep dives into the community, and microjournalism in general. This reminds me of This American Life's style of reporting and interviewing, but all focused on one town. It's fascinating to think what exists around you that you may never know about.
Well, that review brought a little tear to my eye.
Yeah,
well,
thank you, D.
Your mom wrote that just the way you wrote it.
My mom writes a lot of these.
I guess. We'd also like to thank Dropping Daisies for that great theme song that kicked off the show.
Yeah, they do a great job with it.
It's an old song from the Tremper Choir used to sing, or maybe they still do sing it. Kenosha, my hometown.
But I'll tell you,
Throw a little guitar in there. Yeah.
A little rocker right there.
Yeah,
Thank you, Dropping Daisies. Hey, Jason.
Hey, Donny.
Did you also know that the Ktown Connects podcast is also on Patreon.com?
I didn't. Wow.
Yeah, you can support the podcast by listening to episodes early, cutting room floor material, and that special interview with me.
Oh, boy.
That you and Kevin from Frank
Elmo,
Schneider.
these guys are worse than us. Just telling you.
I don't know about that.
If you want to become a supporter like Manny Ramirez, subscriptions start at $2 a month. Visit patreon.com/Ktown Connects to get all this great bonus material.
Hey, you want to wear our logo on your head or on your chest?
We are just whoring out to everybody.
Yeah, we are. What can we say? We're local. But I like to wear the logo on my chest. As you can see, I'm wearing this great Ktown Connects sweatshirt, and you're wearing a nice Ktown Connects t-shirt. Ooh. And that is courtesy of the Lettering Machine, located at 720 50th Street. You can get all your Ktown Connects merchandise right there on their website.
There's a little store you go through. You go to our website, ktownconnects.com, click on the button there. It brings you to their merch store. We got T-shirts. We got hats.
Mugs.
What?
There's some mugs on there.
Is there mugs?
I think so. And your personal favorite, masks.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Why would you say my personal favorite? I have no problem with masks.
Oh.
Don't talk to me like I'm an asshole.
These guys are struggling, Elmo. They're struggling.
To cover up that lipstick. But yeah, contact the letter machine. Go to ktownconnects.com and find that link and order your merch. Well, gotta say it again. We gotta make that money, right?
We also need to take a moment to thank our other sponsors.
The Downtowner Saloon, located at 707 56th Street.
Captain Mike's is over on 5118 6th Avenue.
Our good friends at Lucci's Grandview, 6929 39th Avenue.
Union Park Tavern. Go get that great fish fry, 4520 8th Avenue.
And the Pine Blossom, 5925 6th Avenue A. They have all your great gifts and home decor.
And keep your eye out on social media for our next big giveaway. We've been doing a lot of that lately, giving away these great gift certificates. They're sponsored by these great local businesses, Frank's Diner, Faded Barbershop for Men, and Lulu Birds.
I love all those businesses.
So, Donnie, what are we doing today?
Right now, we are going to be connecting with the great, fine gentlemen of the Kenosha Today Breakfast Club. Welcome, Scott Barter.
We take offense to that fine gentleman.
Oh, yeah, I figured you guys would. Scott Barter and Steve Schneider, Uncle Scotty and Elmo, as your listeners would.
You guys are very impressive. You got a line of merchandise. All we got is a bunch of empty shot glasses. So after 25 years, Elmo, that's all we got to look forward to. But
yeah, 25 years, huh? That is
coming up in April.
That is something. That is great. So we're going to just kind of get to know you guys, and then we'll get into the show. So, Scott, you grew up in Kenosha?
Actually, I was born in Green Bay, and I ended up here. And when I was 3, I was adopted out of Green Bay. So I ended up here, and yes, I went to all elementary schools. Actually, the strange thing is I had to go to Roosevelt for kindergarten and first grade because Forest Park wasn't built, and then I had to go to McKinley for 7th grade because Lance wasn't built, and then I had to go to, it was a split shifts for half of my sophomore year because Tremper wasn't built. So, well,
you've been all over the place.
Yeah, I missed everything by a while, but
so you must have grew up somewhere around here by Luigi's here somewhere, huh?
Forest Park was
okay, so right over here,
yeah.
All right, nice neighborhood over there. What were some of your hangouts when you were a kid?
Forest Park.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to tell you, I was as a kid growing up, I was very blessed because we had a great group of guys. There were some great-looking gals there too, but I don't recall their names right now. But
Shirley?
No, not Shirley. she was over my age. But these guys were a bunch of characters, and I mean, they were all about having. There was no internet, and if you had to get to Forest Park at 9 o'clock in the morning to play in the baseball game, and then you went home for lunch, you get back at 1, and then you go back for the night game, and then we would chase girls at night. But it was a great fun time growing up in the 50s and the early 60s.
Where'd you go chase the girls at?
I'd rather not say. Well, anywhere, it got dark at 9, so we did the best we could.
Some alleyway somewhere or something?
There's no alleys out there. You just had to kind of fend for yourself. But, we did what we did.
Yeah.
So,
Steve, you grew up in Kenosha as well?
Yeah, I'm lifer here, fourth generation.
Oh,
so
wow.
Family goes back, both sides of the family go back that long. So,
wow.
Did it Southport, Lincoln, Tremper, Carthage.
Oh, okay.
So went all through school here and did all that stuff. So,
what kind of student were you?
Well, actually, I did pretty well. So.
Oh.
I was not exactly honor roll material, but I would tell my dad that, Steve has heard most of this stuff before, but I showed my dad my report card, and I was trying to explain to him I was a 4-point student. And he says, I just don't see this. And I said, well, you got to add the 2 point from the first semester to the 2 point. That's when he told me I wasn't going to Harvard. I mean, but, it was a fun time growing up in those years. And all of a sudden, I think when you get to the late 60s, the Vietnam War, I think, in my view, had a lot to do with, in 68 and beyond, I think the wheels were coming off after Kennedy got assassinated. Then you had Martin Luther King, and then you had Bobby Kennedy, and geez, those were tough times.
The list goes on.
Yep.
Oh, my God, yeah.
You're about that age. Did you serve?
On our side.
Well, I hope so.
I got drafted.
Okay.
I was going to Gateway. For whatever reason, I lost my deferment in 1970 by 1 credit. I don't know how that happened. So I get drafted and go to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and then I go to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, trained as a forward observer. And a forward observer calls in rounds, and find out 3 weeks before I'm going to Fort Ord and going to across the pond, I find out the lifespan of a forward observer is like 17 days.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm thinking, this is not really going to work out real well.
No.
Well, then, if you recall, in those years, they had all the the protests in Kent State, and there was a protest in Madison where they blew up a building and a janitor got killed. Well, Nixon, God love him, decides that he needed to beef up reservists and National Guard troops, and he couldn't wait. So they said, well, there's a directive going out. Anybody from Wisconsin, Indiana, and Ohio can transfer services, but you got to come back and spend 6 years.
Oh.
Well, that seemed like I have all my fingers. And unfortunately, when in 2000, I did go to the wall, and my entire company of 126 is on that wall. You talk about sitting there for an afternoon and drinking a bottle of wine and crying.
Oh.
Good Lord, China was showing up on me. So those were not good times. So
when you got back, what did you end up doing?
Did you finish Gateway?
Oh, I had already finished.
Oh, okay.
I was 1 credit shy, and I lost my deferment. In those days, you had to have a deferment.
Okay.
And so that's why I got drafted. So I ended up working as a buyer for Sears right over here until 79, and then I left them and became a tax accountant for the last 40 years. So somewhere along the line, I got married and stayed there for 24 years, had 2 wonderful children. And, of course, that marriage didn't end up real well.
So
as most marriages don't. My colleague, he's been to the rodeo a little more time. So it was a fun time, and so here I am.
So you came back. You're in your early 20s. You're all done with the service.
Yeah.
You're back in Kenosha, working at Sears. What was some of your hangouts? Where'd you go? What'd you do for fun?
Well, there was a place right across the street here called Town Country Lounge, and at that time they had double bubble on Fridays.
What does that mean?
Well, double bubble means you got 2 for. If you it was a Manhattan, a gimlet, or a martini, 2 for 50 cents.
Wow.
This was in the 70s.
Wow, yeah.
So, I mean, people flocked from Sears, Snap-on, the teachers. The place was shoulder to shoulder, and it made Saturday mornings very difficult sometimes. But, I mean, it was right over here. It was called Spetzman's way back in the day. And then
Was that right where the Starbucks is, or?
Or Popeyes is.
Popeyes,
Popeyes,
yeah.
okay.
And they tore it down, I don't know, whenever.
Or widened
Many,
the road.
many
It was like
years.
almost
Right.
hanging out into the
Right.
road.
But that was
Oh,
a,
yeah,
that
it
was
was
a
right
great
against the
place.
road.
You drank them right out of business.
Well, yeah, I would categorize it that way, but it was a fun time. And then, the drinking laws became a little more difficult, and the state got away with double bubbles. But you think about 2 of those for 50 cents from 5 to 7?
Was that a good deal even back then?
It was a hell of a deal back then. I mean,
$2, you're on the floor, right?
Pretty much.
yeah.
Now you walk into a bar and you ask for a Manhattan, they're going to look at you like, what?
Yeah.
What's a Manhattan?
Hold on, let me get my phone out.
Yeah, let me Google how to make that.
Gimlets and martinis. And like I said, all the teachers would come in there, the people from Sears and Snap-on, and I mean, it wasn't a real big place, but it was shoulder to shoulder till 7 o'clock.
What did you do when you were working at Sears?
I was a buyer for men's clothing.
Oh,
at the
okay.
end.
That was a hot spot back then, huh?
Yeah, but well, I can tell this story because in the 70s, the government had gotten into this reverse discrimination. I'm sorry, what was the thing where you had to have, if you had, help me out, that was
Affirmative action.
affirmative action. That was it. This is where I rely on my man. No, seriously, and so there was if you were in a town at that time, Kenosha had 5 or 6% minorities, and if you had to employ 5 or 6 minorities. Well, I was a 27-year-old white guy, and everybody was passing me by, and there was a case in California where a guy did a reverse discrimination suit, but it took years to win, and I decided to leave and go seek my fortune. Ended up selling insurance with Prudential, and then became a tax accountant. But that's how I did all that nonsense.
So then you Barter Financial Planning Services,
Yes.
5303 28th Avenue.
That's my house. I work out of there.
Oh, very nice. Oh, well, everybody go knock on his window.
That's
say,
where we
"I
do
need
the
my
show
tip."
from.
Oh,
That's where we do our show from.
Perfect.
Well, after, I think it was in 06, I had a variety of offices. One was right down here across from the muffler place by the tracks,
Okay.
or next to the VFW. I was there for 9 years in a couple other places, but because of rising costs in 06, I decided to close that. I sold my condo, and I bought this house, which was more than I needed, but in an L-shaped living room, dining room, that's where I decided to work out. So I don't know if they're knocking on my door to peek in the window. some nights I'm not sure.
So if somebody wants to get your service, they can call 262-652-6767.
That's my number.
All right, let's see.
And you know what's significant about that? I graduated in 67. I've had that number for 40 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. I've been through about 10 cell phone numbers my whole
Well,
life.
I'm not going to give you my garage code, but everybody else has it, right?
There we go.
There's been some issues. We can get into that later, but there's been some.
I already told him for random questions he should ask you your garage codes.
It's on the wall at the boathouse bathroom. I just go in there.
Oh, okay.
So, Steve, you growing up in Kenosha, what were some of your hangout spots as a teenager, young adult?
Teenager. Well, I'm trying to. Well, let's see. I'm trying to think when I was a little kid.
Where'd you go smoke the weed at?
Me do that?
Who saw that coming?
Really growing up, we had like 8 million kids in our neighborhood, so we could, easily field 2 full baseball teams and
very
stuff
nice.
like that. And I was a town club kid, if you know what that.
No, what is that?
It was a tennis and swimming club down at. It's gone now. It's down in Carroll Beach.
It was in Pleasant Prairie.
In Pleasant Prairie. So.
How many people were involved in that?
Well, they had a couple.
Oh boy.
thousand.
Yeah, they maybe had, maybe not that, 500
Oh, wow. Oh.
members down there. So
I think it was put in there as an alternative going to the country club.
country
right?
club,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, okay.
Well, it's people they wanted to focus on tennis at
Yeah.
that time instead of golf. So that
Oh,
was
okay.
When I built my house in '86, my neighbor was a member there. So it cost you $1,000, and then they paid you interest. So at any time you could get the money back. So I got my money back after about a year. And then the guy that had the money, he fled to
Took off.
Bolivia and he took all the money with him.
No, I was there till I broke my hand when I was 13 years old.
Oh.
So that kind of cut my tennis career
Were you
short
were you too hard?
down there. No, I slugged my sister. So we did it.
Whoa.
Oh, hey, all right. Even better.
It wasn't the off till it came later on, after he got divorced.
Thanks, Donny has got
So-
us a rating now.
So that did that, and then the following year I got more involved with the Tremper marching band. So
Oh,
we were doing
okay.
a lot with that. We're going on trips to competitions and stuff like that all summer. And
So when you were in the Tremper band, is that kind of where you got your passion to be in choir? Because
I was never in choir.
No.
No, I was a band guy. Band and jazz. I've been playing piano since I was 4 years old.
Oh.
So
So what'd you do in a marching band?
I did that. I played trumpet and then tuba
Wow.
there. So I played brass instruments too. So I played in the played piano in the Tremper Jazz Band
Okay.
for 3 years, and then was in the symphonic band and wind ensemble while I was there, and then keep going the musical career. After I got to Carthage, I was recruited to play in a wedding band when it got started.
okay.
So I was working at a music store downtown, Benninger House of Music. They sold pianos, TVs, records, guitars, all kinds of stuff down there. But it was a great place. It was like working in a mental institution.
Where was that?
Everybody.
Downtown?
It's right next to Alcoholics Anonymous for some reason.
okay.
Yeah, it's like kitty corner from the Downtowner.
Oh, okay.
This is the first storefront to the.
By Dale's Jewelers, right? Kind of-
Right. Yep.
Tell them the story about was it when the guy brought in the weed?
Oh, that's a whole.
Oh, okay.
That's a whole aside. But anyway, we work on Monday nights, and I'm in there, and you never know. Every once in a while, somebody come in and buy a piano, so you had to have there. All the downtown was open till 9 o'clock at night, so I'm in there with 2 other guys, and it's dead in there, and so I'm playing the piano and doing stuff, and this guy comes walking in, and he tells my boss, Bill, he says, I got to find a piano player by this weekend.
Oh, hey.
He's got to be able to play it. He says, hire Elmo, he's good. So
There you go.
So I went and tried out. Everything worked out great. So we went from weddings and eventually changed over to a bar band. We were on basically Chicago to Green Bay bar circuit,
Oh, wow.
playing on that by the time we got done. So
Did you play any spots here in Kenosha?
yeah, we played. Our main place in Kenosha which is gone now, the Midtown Lounge.
Where was that at?
Was that the barn over
50
on?
That was the
It
bar
was,
that
yeah.
it burned down. Yeah.
About 15
Yeah.
years ago. or so?
Mysteriously at 4 a.m.
We was there. Got all these places that are gone. There's a place called the Bullpen that was almost to the state line on Sheridan Road. We play there a lot. That was a great big place. We'd play there.
Is anything still around that you guys grew up with?
Watch it. You're talking to a 71-year-old old guy here. But I was a clarinet player. But
Oh.
and when I And when I got to my junior year, I didn't want to be in. My mother wanted me to be in the band, and my dad wanted me to be a baseball player. And so I went from first chair in ninth grade to the very end.
Oh.
And so the story was, we had a band director, and he had to go in, say your name, and then on this tape recorder and play the chords. Well, I said my name, and I had this other guy play the chords. And so the band, he says, I know you have no. I said, good, kick me out of here. I don't want to be in your band. It was an elective. And so, but Elmo, I would have been in a great band player because he talks about some of the fringe benefits of being in the band after you got done playing. So
Yeah.
I would have paid more attention.
Well, it was great because I started as a sophomore in college, and we were doing mostly weddings then. So while everybody was out spending money, out at a bar,
You're making it.
I'm making it. Well,
He was making it all right.
you go to a wedding, you eat for free, you drink for free, you play some music, and you go home with a drunken bridesmaid, and you get paid $100 at the end of the night. So it's
Not a lot of calls for clarinet players. Otherwise, I would have stuck with it.
So what did you go to Carthage for, Steve?
Party.
Yeah.
I started as a history major and then found that I didn't like writing papers, so I probably could not make much money as a history major, so I switched to as an accounting major. So that's-
Okay.
You can run a podcast with a history major.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
So Scott, growing up, were you a fan of like talk show hosts, things like that? Were you like Tonight Show kind of the guy?
Actually, no. I was a very introverted person, and I was so scared when I was going to Gateway. I was taking business, and I was so scared of taking salesmanship because I would have had to get up in front of everybody and sell a product. And so I avoided this to the end. And so instead of going with all the guys that I was in, I ended up going with all women fashion merchandising. I go, what the hell did I get myself into here? And so the first project or the assignment was you had to get up in front of the group and sell something. And I'm, oh, geez. And she just said, well, we're going to go alphabetical order. And I'm pretty much screwed here because I was deathly afraid of getting up in front of anybody.
Oh.
She said, well, in favor of Mr. Barter, we'll go reverse order, which meant I go last. Well, these gals were, the peer pressure. This gal was so scared. She was selling a blender. And she dropped it and smashed it. I go, I can do better than this. And then the thing was the class graded you. So I was working for part-time at Ace Hardware at the time, and I said, well, I'm going to sell a toaster, and I had the mechanic jack up the spring so when he hit the button, the toast flew up, and I was going to sell bacon, lettuce, and tomatoes, sandwiches. So I get this thing, and I go in on my day and put my little tie on, my little sweater vest, and did that, and my mother made sausages and whatever. And these old gals, they gave me a standing ovation. I got an A.
Oh.
And I remember that day like it was yesterday because after that, I wasn't intimidated. But I was. The peer pressure can get to you.
Yep.
And after that, I says, I can't get enough of this. I mean, so here I am.
It just kind of all clicked for you right after that. Huh?
After that, except for the Army, that didn't click real well.
All right, well, I think this is a good time for us to take our first break, and we'll be right back with more with Scott and Elmo talking about Kenosha Today.
Where's the bathroom?
We're back from our break with Scotty and Elmo from Kenosha Today.
You guys having fun?
Sure.
Good. So, Steve,
What are they going to say? No?
Yeah, this is, I got to tell you,
Okay.
this is, like I said, this is the first time in 25 years anybody's ever interviewed me.
Really?
Yeah, except for a lawyer in a deposition, but
Well,
that was
we'll get into that later.
No, we won't.
So, Steve, you are involved in a German male choir, is that correct?
MGV Harmonia German Chorus.
How did you get started in that? Tell us a little bit about this, because I'm very fascinated by this.
Well, I got roped into running Oktoberfest at Kemper some years back, and the choir would do the food for Oktoberfest at Kemper down there. And so I
Is
would
it
go.
when they walk around with like Jaeger in a backpack and they shoot it down your mouth?
That was my creation down there when I was running that.
Wow, finally, I met the inventor.
My
Congratulations.
Oktoberfest girls, I was the one that
Fantastic,
brought in the
yes.
Oktoberfest
Oh,
girls.
all right.
Yep, so. But anyways, so these guys would do the cooking and stuff. They would constantly argue with me about stuff at the meetings trying to set it up. So I figured if I joined the choir, they couldn't argue with me anymore at the thing. So that's what I did. So
So how long have you been doing that?
God, what's it been? Well, we've kind of had the year off,
Right.
like everybody else has this year. But in 2009, I joined in there. So
nice.
did a stint as president of the organization for a while. And
Then
so,
our good friend Ben from Union Park
Yes.
Tavern is also.
yes,
in
he
there with
is.
you.
I recruited him to come into the
did you?
choir.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
took a year.
You know, I just saw Ben a couple weeks ago, and I asked him if I could try out for the choir.
Ah, yeah.
And he says, "Can you sing?" And I said, "My good friend Cy Costabile is teaching me." He said, "We'll get back to
Oh,
you."
good old Cy, huh?
He said, "We'll get back to
He
you."
does the
But-
piano jams over there on Sunday.
Yes,
Yes.
he's quite a
Elmo,
guy.
why don't you do the piano jams over there?
Oh, they've
With him?
asked me to, but I don't do that kind of stuff.
I think Cy
anymore.
just started doing it. They didn't really even.
Yeah,
set it up
didn't. Yeah,
for-
he kind of just started doing that.
Sure,
Okay, I
sure.
guess you're doing it.
Guess you're doing it.
Sundays.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a new piano. Ben bought a new
Well, it's
piano.
Ben's from his
Someplace.
house.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
oh, that was.
Nice. Yeah, I saw you over there last week, Steve.
Yep.
You're 3 sheets to the wind when I saw you.
No.
Nah,
No.
just
Who
kidding.
saw that coming?
I was there right when they
Well, those
opened.
guys, I do their newsletter for them. And,
Oh, the scoop, right?
The
It's
scoop.
called-
I
Oh,
write
that's very cool.
I write the scoop, and I do their menus. And
Oh, very nice.
did the,
I picked up one copy of the Scoop a little while back. I was really impressed with it. It was very nice. So,
Thank you.
Well done. If you don't know, it's like a fake little newspaper that Union Park makes. It
Right.
has
Well, it
everything.
kind of got started. They wanted something to put their beer menu on.
Oh, okay. And,
So-
and it changes, so you need something that can
Well,
change.
right, and it's just a promotional thing. I used to put a lot more nonsense in there, but up until the COVID thing started, it used to be 4 pages. It's now just 2.
Well, hopefully we can bump it back up soon because it's
Yeah.
something fun. It's,
Yeah, it's fun when you go in there, you see that. So do you speak German?
I sing German, and I can kind of understand it but I could never do conversational. I had 2 years in high school, but I could never do conversational
Can you
German.
sing a little for us right now?
Sure.
Yeah.
But Bier und die Jägermeister, tra la 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 la. Bier und die Jägermeister, tra la 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 la. Bier und die Jägermeister, tra la 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 la. Ein Schlag und die Jägermeister schlägt. Schlag, schlag.
I think we have our intro. Well, that's great. I keep up the good work with the
Thank you.
choir.
Yep.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, whenever we toast, we have to sing that song. So, in addition to a
And
few
they toast
others.
often.
So you've done your share of Jaeger.
So that means you have to drink, huh?
Yes. Well, cheers, guys. Cheers
Yeah,
to
cheers.
that.
Okay.
Wish we had some Jaeger here.
Oh, not me.
Oh, Scott. So let's talk about you ran for mayor a couple
here we go.
times, correct? What year did you run your first time for mayor?
The first time was in '96.
96.
And I had no desire to ever be in politics, and my ex-wife was livid against that.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a whole bunch of problems, and I was running against John Antaranium, who just come out of the. Well, actually, he was elected in '92 for the first time, and he'd been a career politician for 8 years. And the big issue in '96 was the airport was going to be expanded.
Okay.
And had those people that was called iCare that all lived in Summers, had they been able to vote, I probably would have won because I only lost by like 2,800 votes. So that's how I got into this thing. The next day after the election, my office was where Herbert's was out there in Pershing Plaza.
Okay.
The guy comes in and says, you look good in debates, you look good in a suit. He says, I want to do a show kind of like Crossfire. And I said, I hate politics. He goes, well, you just lost. And I said, I don't think there's enough politics in Kenosha to sustain a 1 hour show. And I said, all right. So I agreed to do 3. And we would tape it on a Thursday, and it would take 4 hours.
Wow.
And by the time it got to playing on Monday, it wasn't the same show because it was all chopped up. And so the coordinator at the time, a guy named Joe Piet, he said, come on, stick with it. We don't have any shows because they had nothing at the time. So I said, I'll do 7. I did 11. I did 50 shows. And I said, going into 97, I'm done. And he says, okay, so I got rid of that guy.
What was it? Was it Kenosha Today then? When
It
you
was
did?
Kenosha Today. It was
you
copyrighted
always,
back
okay,
then.
you always started
Yeah,
with Kenosha
and
Today.
so I decided, well, we're going to have a lot of nonprofit, and I always liked Johnny Carson, so I did that. I did a top 10 and brought in all the nonprofits and promoted all of whatever they had going. And so he says, well, don't quit. He says, why don't you do a live show? And do it on Wednesdays and forget the editing. All right, here we go. 3, 7, 11. I did another 50 shows. So then at the time,
And were these were on cable access, or were these?
yeah,
when
it
you
was
first started
Channel
off?
21 at the time,
Okay.
which then got changed to 14.
Right.
So Channel 14, it was still 21 at the time, had nothing going on. So they started replaying the best of, and I was on in those first 3 years, 7 hours a week.
Wow.
And you know what, that really gave us the impetus because everybody could see it.
Right.
And so then one of their board members got these. Well, Barter's getting too popular here. We got to. That's exactly what happened. After 3 or 4 years, we can't give him that much exposure, so they cut it back. You get 1 live play and 2 replays, which like what we do now.
Right. Yeah.
But for the first 3 or 4 years, that's what
Well, they're just filling the airwaves with content, right? They're just trying to.
It was just it was just what they called it. One was the best of, and then the replays, and it was all over the place.
So that pretty much built your popularity up.
That's right, in the first 3 or 4 years, and that's why some of these board members said, "Well, he can't get that popular." The guy says, "We got nothing else to go on here."
Right.
We had Thursdays, which was the church, all the religious things, but they had nothing going on.
So then you decided to run again with your
We had
popularity?
to bring that up too, didn't we? So anyway, we get to 07, and I ran in 08, and my heart really wasn't in it, and I had money lined up, and I just knew that wasn't going to go real well, which it didn't. But the interesting thing is, every time the Kenosha News ever did an article, as Elmo, Scott Barter, 2-time failed mayoral candidate. I called this guy. I said, what's the purpose of that? He says, well, it's germane. It's not germane to the story.
Oh.
But,
I think we have
failed mayoral
description.
candidate.
I think we have our description for the show notes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a big joke at the vote. So,
Well, you can always count on the Kenosha News for some great headlines.
Yeah.
and I
So-
took shots at them over the years.
So first you're doing your show at the studio there at over on Washington Road.
Right.
And then how'd you get involved with the boathouse?
Well, I spent most of my whole life there. Well, they were a big. Actually, when 2013 came around, a former alderman named Ray Meisner had this show, and he was into WLIP for like $4,000. So they parted ways, and so they asked if I wanted to do. It was called paid broadcasting. So from Monday through Thursday, I accumulated the boathouse and a bunch of sponsors, and that Saturday I was on with Steve Casey.
Okay.
And
And
Steve
so-
Casey was your first co-host?
And so what happens is, he says, what are we going to talk about? I says, I have no idea. It was a 1-hour show.
1 hour you had to film.
And I says, well, when the light turns on, we'll see what happened. And all of a sudden we got these calls. And, of course, he was an alderman, as he will tell, for 22 years. And so he lasted for a couple of years, but his business started to grow. And so Elmo came on as kind of a part-time film. But then, 5 years maybe?
6, I think.
6? And
Yeah, I became full-time at that point.
Yeah.
So.
Because now Steve has his own show again on WLIP.
Yeah, so then we did that for the first year. WLIP says, well, you guys got such good ratings. We're going to do this, expand it to 2 hours.
Oh.
And give you a 2-hour replay on Sundays.
Nice.
So, okay, and we've been there ever since until it would have been in, I think, the summer of 19, when they sold that building and they were going to move to Gurney Mills. Elmo and I went down, and it was a great facility, right? We got back, and it says, you know what, I think you can't be live and local and being down there. So
Yeah, to drive, what is it, half hour, sometimes 45 minutes, depending on traffic
Yeah.
each way, and that's, in 2 hours in there, and,
But weren't you guys recording live at the boathouse though, I thought? Or did you- that was like
on
a-
occasion.
yeah,
Okay.
we've done some remotes.
Okay.
And the deal was almost the brains of all this and all the technical stuff that you see here. And we were going to try to do a show every Saturday someplace different. In fact, he's got all this stuff. He can pack it into a suitcase and
Yep.
on the way we go. But then
That's what we do.
COVID came and they went down there. And within 2 days of being there, then everything shut down. So we just decided we took a couple weeks off, right? And did the show from my family room in front of the fireplace. And then we just moved it upstairs to my trophy room. This guy's tremendous. We took a green sheet, like
Green
everybody-
screen.
Yeah, green screen, like the newspaper do.
Yeah.
And he puts all these different shots for background.
Okay, cool, yeah.
So we did that, and we got a phone system.
Yeah, so you can
Unlike
take
anybody.
phone calls.
He can take 4 phone calls and have 4
Oh, we can
people
take more
talking.
than that, but it would get
Yeah.
too
Well, you
complicated.
can all have
It's
that,
too muddy,
that
that
round
one.
table
Yeah.
com- Well, it's the Kenosha Today Breakfast Club. You can find them on YouTube. Just look up Kenosha Today Breakfast Club. You can go to their website, KenoshaToday.com as well.
Right.
And hopefully soon you guys will be back on Spectrum Channel 14, correct?
Hopefully this next week.
Oh, that's going to be
We're hoping.
great. So summarize your guys' show. Just give us a little rundown all about it.
Elmo, you go first.
Well, we just try to cover like whatever hot news topics are there. Hopefully, we try to focus on the local news better. If there's still going back to when it was a political show on the going back, and if there's any hot items.
So you guys are basically political, and then you get into some.
I don't really want to be political.
No.
Well, we make fun of politics.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
We comment on. Well, kind of when the radio show first got it going, you had this group of aldermen called the Fab Five that were there, and so that was kind of a hot political topic back then.
And the trolley is also
I was just
on
gonna,
our radar.
I was going to bring up the trolley.
You're not a big trolley fan, I hear.
I've got.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's stupid. I mean, when we started, that's what this guy was doing. This producer, I don't want to mention his name, but the trolley was coming. Those 5 cars were coming from Toronto that they got. I remember a grant for $333,000. And what I found out in this thing, everybody tells me everything. So the gal at the time was the Chamber of Commerce. She says they got those 5 trolley cars here, and the tracks were in, and they were the wrong gauge. Cost $225,000. And so I just thought it was amusing, and it cost the taxpayers a lot of money. And I remember when you mentioned the second run for mayor, I was at the Union Club, and the place was packed, and the topic of the trolley came up. So it was, what did I think of it? I said, well, I don't think that there's these kind of riders. They must all be midgets. It got a great laugh, but I mean, that's about the far it went. I mean, it has its point in the summertime. When they first put that in, it was supposed to be those people moving in Harbor Park. We're going to get on the trolley and go to the train station.
Yeah.
Well, the trolley didn't start till 11. These guys are going to work at 5 in the morning.
Correct.
So it's, the top trolley driver makes about 50-some thousand in salary and about another 30,000 benefits. So
Well, he's a bus driver too.
yeah, they belong
They
to the
rotate
transit
off.
union.
They
Yeah.
transfer back
Yeah.
and forth.
So-
So I looked into it.
We did a song that was similar to Toby Keith and Scott Emmerich on Willie Nelson's 70th birthday. We never smoke weed with Willie again.
Oh,
We did our version. We never smoke weed in the trolley again. Very, very similar.
We had the Christmas song. Grandma got run over by a trolley.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
So that's the stuff.
I mean, I like the trolley. I think it looks good down there.
It's cool looking, but it's
it goes
kind
nowhere.
of useless.
Yeah.
Get it to Carthage. Get it to Uptown.
Well,
you
they
know?
were thinking of doing that in the Bosman administration. It was going to cost $10 million to take it out to Carthage, where that parking lot is, and bring it back down 8th Avenue and bring it in front of the Union Park. And then they figured out, We Energies was going to charge another $10 million. So they scrapped that, except for the summertime,
Right.
when they actually moves people. Now they got the parking ramp that's going to open, which is a gorgeous looking thing.
Yes, it is.
And people can get on there, get on the trolley, go down to the Harbor Market, and come back around. So
Yeah, I think it'll be really good with these 2 markets that are downtown, and downtown's going to be rocking and rolling more than ever.
Yep.
But man, if the trolley would go to Carthage and just run late on the weekends, these college kids would be on there.
you're absolutely right.
Going to the bars back and forth. And,
But they have a gas trolley.
Yeah, the
yes.
tire trolley.
Yeah, the gas trolley goes
That
out
could
there.
have easily done that. And
Yep.
they could have charged these kids $5, and Parkside too is right up the street.
Yep.
And go to midnight.
It's like the city didn't think it through.
No, but that's the kind of the main focus on the show. And
Yeah.
if there's nothing like that go around, we might go to state or national politics. Otherwise, we just look for weird news and talk about that.
Cool.
More and more, since we're kind of getting more caller driven now, because they'll come in and comment about.
That's nice. They kind of drive the conversation in the direction that it goes
Right.
to. Who
Yeah.
calls
Yeah.
in,
We
what they
just
say.
kind of let it go.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, see, it's not our show. It's the caller's show.
Yeah.
And I tell you, when I first went there in 2013, and you see the lights coming on, you go, I'm not sure what this is going to be here. you know?
Right.
But now Elmo, he controls the calls because he sees the numbers. So for the most part, you know what calls and who's on
Which
the other
calls to
end.
take, which ones not to take. There's Shirley again.
So I know you're a little sporadic with tax season going on, but what nights do you usually would you record to be going live?
Well, no, we're Saturday morning at
Saturday morning
At
still?
10
Okay.
o'clock.
10
Okay.
a.m. Yep.
All right.
So
And people just follow you on Facebook and they'll know when you're coming up when you're.
Go to YouTube and Kenosha Today Breakfast Club, and I usually try to post a link on our Facebook page too to get to it. So.
Well, I mean, if they want to get involved with the conversation, they want to be involved with the live stream.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
just call in the numbers.
call in. We got a
What is our number?
262-597-3020
I'm gonna call in and
Kenosha
just say,
Today
hey,
hotline.
You call
remember-
us.
I
Because
think
it's
I will.
it's right up there on the screen. Right
Good to
above.
hear, Donny, my boy. We can hang up on you just
Yeah, perfect.
as Irish Ruth.
So 25 years, Scott, you've been at it.
24 and a
years.
half longer than I ever thought I would be.
How much longer you got in you?
We're not dating, are we?
I mean, you still enjoy doing it.
Yes, and I've told everybody that's ever been, I told them, when it comes to be not fun,
Yep, that's when you quit.
then we're done. You know, this last year because of COVID, we didn't make any money.
Right.
Allen Broadcasting Inc. is going to take a lot of red ink this year, like everybody else is
Right.
going to, because we were paid broadcasting, and when the advertisers all folded up or because they weren't in business. But I think we're going to recapture, and even if it isn't, we don't have to pay those characters in Illinois anymore. But
Yeah, you
as
got
long-
the YouTube going, maybe get a podcast going. I mean, I think you guys will be, you have that core audience, like I said, you guys are going to be rocking and rolling.
as long as it's fun, it's been a hell of a ride, and I'll keep going as long as Elmo shows up and we have fun.
Great.
Kind of how we do it too. It's more of a hobby. It's more for fun. We do it. We're not.
Well, that's what it
expecting-
started. But when we went to paid broadcasting, I mean,
Right,
there
then
was a
it's-
couple of years we actually made money,
Yeah.
and well, then
And that's nice.
it was never, it wasn't never meant to do that. But you know, our plan was to take this and go to a different business every Saturday, and that's why we got all this stuff on wheels. But you know, there's a lot of businesses that just can't afford it.
Right. Yeah, I think maybe you guys could start doing those live appearances, maybe coming
Yep,
up in
things
the
are gonna
summer. I
loosen up
think
here.
there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and I think that'll be great for you guys. So it's a Kenosha Today Breakfast Club. You can find them at KenoshaToday.com or find them on Facebook, and definitely check out their shows on YouTube. We'll be right back with some quick connects. We're back here with the Ktown Connects podcast. What a great break that was, huh, Jason?
It was quite a break. And speaking of breaks, actually no, but if you follow us on social media, you've seen all these giveaways we're doing. We do these raffles. We give away gift certificates, things like that. We get donated to us, stuff we buy with extra money we have. We have another one coming up real soon, so stay tuned. But we're also putting together a big one, the biggest raffle we've done ever,
The biggest one ever.
for the end of season 2. And this one will be just for people who listen. We're not putting it on social media. We're not going to do anything.
Nope.
It takes us about 2, right?
Yep.
We know who they are because they listen to us too.
So this big raffle will be exclusive to our listeners only. So we're not going to be promoting it. All you have to do is drop us a line at ktownconnects@yahoo.com with the subject line raffle. Or you can send us a Facebook message. We'll take those too.
Yeah.
You do that, and you'll be entered in. And at the end of the season, sometime around June, we're going to hold a raffle and see who's going to be the big winner.
And there is some big prizes in this big end
Big
of the season
prizes.
raffle. I mean, thank you to all of our sponsors. We don't want to spoil what's in this great giveaway, but it will blow your mind.
And I think our Patreon supporters are automatically entered.
Yeah, I think so too. They deserve it.
But what if they don't listen?
Well, then,
And they're still giving us $12, so
yeah. Well, that brings us to our Quick Connects. Brought to you by Washed Out, a locally owned hair product. From the suit and tie businessman to the Motorhead leather jacket rocker, Washed Out is loved by those seeking the best hair products at an affordable price. So if you love my great hair, check out washedouthairs.bigcartel.com for details. Well, I got that out of the
When
way.
you say washed out hair, what are you looking at me for?
Hey, I'm
washed up.
Washed up, yeah. Sorry.
So, Scott and Steve, are you ready for our Quick Connects question? Favorite famous Kenosian? We'll start with you, Scott. You can say yourself if you
who's
you
the
can
guy?
say yourself if you want.
No. Who's the guy that Lou Regani spends? The guy that died and what was the famous actor that spent 3 years here and left town?
Oh, Don Amici.
No, the other guy.
Orson Welles,
Orson Welles, yeah. That's my Orson Welles.
the one who lived here as a toddler and then left. And
He left here at 3, and everybody's honoring this guy. Every year is Orson Welles' birthday.
Yeah.
The guy who spent 3 years here. And, okay,
cares?
Lou, our friend Lou is tributing to Orson Welles. I can't figure out why more people don't tribute to Orson Welles. He did nothing for Kenosha.
Steve?
John McAfee.
Oh, yeah, I changed my vote. I go with this guy.
who's that?
Yeah, man.
John
John
McAfee.
McAfee. He was the last person to be hanged in the state of Wisconsin.
Oh,
They did it.
that guy.
They did it in Library Park. And
3,000 people.
3,000 people came to watch. He was-
Wow. What were his crimes?
Well, he
he murdered his wife. He drowned her in a cistern in the backyard while the neighbors watched
shows creativity.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
for nagging him too much.
Go, Johnny. Go, Johnny. No, that's true. 3,000 people were in Library
Yeah.
Park.
Wow.
And then the Wisconsin banned capital punishment after that.
All right, what is your favorite annual Kenosha event?
Oh, geez, I like going to the church festivals, not annual, but I just like
Yeah.
going to church festivals and everything
Okay.
else that Kenosha had to offer during the summertime. it was unfortunate that we all missed it. Everything.
Well,
last
we're
year.
pretending that things are coming back.
Yeah, hope so.
Yeah. How about you, Elmo? What's your
It'd be one of our Oktoberfest celebrations. Like I said, anytime you got girls with backpacks full of booze, what can be wrong with that?
Yeah, you can't go right.
All right, Scott.
Front and backpacks full of booze.
Yes, sir.
What is the last great meal you had in Kenosha?
I don't eat a lot. I drink a lot, but I don't eat a lot. I just actually had some fish at the boathouse just on Friday.
Okay.
Basa or hasa or whatever they call it. It was pretty good. So
All right, Elmo.
The last great one, that's probably something at Union Park Tavern. I can't remember.
Oh yeah.
Great fine sponsors of the Ktown Connects
That's
podcast.
right,
They have
yeah,
great
but
food there.
The food there is excellent. So,
Ben does a great job with that food. I had the walleye sandwich last week, and it was fantastic. All right, though. Which now closed Kenosha business do you wish you could bring back?
Jeez,
The 2 drinks for 50 cents bar?
Yeah, thank you very much. There's so many of them that over, let's say, the last 30, 40 years that have gone by the wayside for whatever, and more so than, especially this year because of the riots and whatever. But I don't know if I have a specific one, but when you mentioned Town and Country Lounge, that's back in the 70s. Elmo, what do you think? In downtown, there was a whole lot of businesses that were special to everybody in the 50s and 60s.
well, you had the big clothing stores down there, and, back then.
Yeah.
Because it was really, you had several banks and a lot of law offices and stuff like that, and they've kind of spread out to the western edge of town. But, downtown was where, hey, you go get something to eat, and then you got to buy a shirt or something, or woman's got to buy a dress. Everything was right down there.
All right. When was the last time you swam in Lake Michigan?
Actually, I did go down to, this was some years ago on New Year's Day, to go into the polar bear plunge. And Al Keel was the county exec, and he had a bet with Anuranium. And there was like 3,000 people down on Simmons Island on New Year's Day, and it was actually kind of balmy. So I'm filming this. This had to be in early 2000. And all these people, these morons are running out. And so I was the last guy to go because I'm quite a wimping chicken. So I'm up to my thighs. And they said, well, you're not a true polar bear until you go out. I said, polar bear my ass. I ain't going out there. I'm going back to the yacht club where it's nice and warm. But that's the last time I wasn't swimming. But
That counts. All right.
yeah.
I think I was 14 or 15. I actually remember pretty big waves. We were body surfing by Southport Park. So.
Oh, cool. All right. In which Kenosha bar do you think you spent the most money? Boathouse, right?
Mine's the boathouse.
Yeah.
That's
easy.
easy.
When I was sick for a week a year ago, they were going to turn it into a nonprofit organization. So, Elmo?
Probably I used to hang at TG's a lot. Okay, that's kind of back in when David Palmer owned it stuff. That's Lenny's brother who's moved up north.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Final question.
Okay.
Big Star or the Spot?
Spot.
I have not been to the Big Star, although they just opened today.
Yeah.
As I was on my way past there. Both have their unique taste in hamburgers. The Spot is using the same beef that they had for 50, 60 years from the same supplier, and the same with the Big Star. So I don't eat that business, but I think they're both good, and I think the town could support both of them. I mean, the place was packed at 3 o'clock this afternoon, the first day. So,
Are you going to run for mayor again with all these politically correct answers?
what the hell is he talking about?
Or you're looking for
What are you taking? Are you all juiced up or what?
All right. That was our Quick Connects. So we're on to our final segment of the show, which is our trivia.
And trivia is brought to you by Coming Up Roses Cleaning and Organizing. For a professional experience at an affordable price, contact Coming Up Roses for your home or office needs. No job is too big or too small. Search Coming Up Roses on Facebook or give them a call at 262-748-6978 and see what they can do for you.
All right, guys. The show called Kenosha Today. I expect you guys to know Kenosha. So for this week's trivia segment, we're going to test your knowledge of Kenosha parks. The two of you as a team is going to take on Donny to win a fabulous trophy and bragging rights.
Let's see this trophy.
You'll wait till...
Okay.
So,
okay, I get it.
I'll give you a set of cross streets, and you have to name the Kenosha City Park that is located there.
Okay.
We have 5 questions for each of you. Donnie's going to begin to show you what it's about.
Jesus.
Donnie. 63rd Street, 10th Avenue.
Baker Park? No. No.
Hey,
You gotta let him do it.
Oh,
Baker Park.
no. 63rd. I know. There's a park there. He's right. There is a park there, but I don't
Well, of
remember.
course, the park.
Well,
there.
now, do we get a chance to answer? Is that
No,
how this
you
works?
no, it's zero.
I
It's,
don't know. I don't know.
It's Bain Park.
It is. You're all right. It's Bain Park.
You know, we're not just two dumb chumps that wandered in here.
Well, we
today.
see. We have 5 questions for you, so we'll see. All right. So I kind of gave you guys the easier ones here. So 22nd Avenue and 54th Street.
Is that
Columbus
for
Park.
me or Scott?
Oh,
You guys are a team, so
we're a team.
you guys can work together.
54th. That would
Yes,
be
Columbus Park.
Columbus Park.
You are correct.
Ooh.
Come on, give us
1-0.
something challenging.
Kenosha Today. All right.
All right, let's see what you got for me.
Donnie. 69th Street and 18th Avenue.
Lincoln Park.
You got it.
Hey. You
Need
do a
a
lot of
belt,
disc
I think.
golfing there.
Ghetto.
Thought you were going to say that for the first one I had.
Kenosha Today. 42nd Avenue and 59th Street.
Boy, yeah.
That's in Wilson.
No.
42nd Ave, 59th.
That's Forest Park.
59th Street.
I can see the park, but I couldn't tell you the name of it. So I
59th.
got a client that lives right across the street from it.
Wilson.
No.
59th. 42nd.
No, it's Davis Park.
That was my next guess.
Yeah, well, too bad you didn't
That was
say
my
something.
next guess, too.
So we tied up 1-1.
Oh, hey.
Jeez, we're playing from.
Donnie. 49th Street and 7th Avenue.
Elmo, that's your. Oh, that's.
Union Park.
That's Union Park.
Nope.
Incorrect.
Oh.
Elmo,
You guys can get a steal, maybe? For bragging rights?
49th and
That's right.
It's right in your stopping grounds, guys. Right,
It's
right by the
Union Park.
boathouse.
That's Union Park.
It's Firehouse Square Park.
Oh, that's not a legitimate park.
It is listed on the City of Park. City.
Well, who believes those
Kenosha.
bastards? This is the city of Kenosha we were talking about, right? That is really considered a legitimate park?
yeah, the city comes and mows Matzer's lawn for
Oh,
him.
that's right. Okay. I forgot about that.
They don't come and clear the fire hydrant until a week later, though. All right, guys.
Ooh, a little dig. I like it.
Kenosha Today, here we go. Okay, here's an easy one. It's 45th Street and 7th Avenue.
That's
Union Park.
There we go. That's you.
Yeah,
Ding, ding.
that's us.
All right.
All right, what you got for me?
Donnie, 67th Street and 57th Avenue.
CYC Park? No.
Brickley Park.
That one's called Tower Line Park.
Yeah,
From
I
all the
never
nice little
would've
tower
guessed
lines.
Come on, Donnie.
Give you cancer.
I don't know my parks. I just know how
You're
to
coming
park.
across, Donnie, like you're a stoop. Come on.
That's
Bring
the
your
bit.
A game,
That's
for
the
God's
bit.
sake. It's your show.
All right, gentlemen. 56th Street, 59th Avenue.
Is that Nash?
That is Nash.
Hey, you know
Good
your
job,
parks.
Elmo.
This guy knows what he's talking about.
Donnie, this is the last one for you.
Oh, boy.
50th Avenue
Mm-hmm.
and 29th Street. I didn't know this one, so you're definitely not going to get it.
50th.
Trying to think of
50th
something.
Ave, 29th Street.
I got nothing.
It's Sunrise Park.
All right.
It's right in your backyard.
That's right. That's where I live.
Huh?
A block away.
Hey,
See, if you would have asked me, he would have known. He would have told me.
I didn't know that was the name of the park.
It was.
and you guys are up 3-1, so this is a gimme here. But for Kenosha Today, 45th Street, 30th Avenue.
That's got to be Wilson. It's in the Wilson Park thing. I don't know if it's called Wilson Park. Oh, I know what it is. It's where the old armory used to be because
Yep.
that's where I used to go. It's not. It's in the Wilson Park neighbor. It's at Anthony Kennedy. It's called. It's called. Help me out here. Hobbs. That's it.
Oh, you got it. All right.
Hey, there you go.
All right, and Kenosha Today is the winner of trivia today. They
Was there
beat
ever-
Donnie
was
by
there
a score
ever
of
any doubt?
4-1.
Come on, Donnie.
Nah,
You guys win
got
a
me.
trophy of Lou Perini's bottled water.
Look at that.
Hey.
You get to
Gonna-
put that on your mantle.
You use that in the background of your show if you'd like to show off.
Right out of Kenosha Water Utilities.
Yes. Cleaner than
Say,
that
Donnie,
tap water.
how many years did you graduate from high school?
I did. Took me about 10 years to do it.
Well, from
but I
Tremper?
did it. Yes.
Hey, we're all
Hey,
graduates of
Yay,
Tremper.
what can we say? Here we go. Oh, Bradford.
I can see they're very proud of you.
Right. Well, that pretty much does it here for this episode of Ktown Connects. You can learn more about the Kenosha Today Breakfast Club by going on YouTube and searching Kenosha Today Show. Go
You
to
can start at KenoshaToday.com. I'm sure they have everything right there. You
yeah,
can go
everything's
right there.
link ready to go. Watch their shows And you guys will soon be back on Channel 14, hopefully.
Next week.
Next
I'm
week.
hoping.
Perfect.
Which will be now, but by the time the episode
when this
comes
is
out.
out, you guys will be on.
You know, this has been a real delight.
I can tell.
I mean, I had hemorrhoid treatments a couple of weeks ago, and this is right up there with it.
Perfect. So I'll give a little shout out to our sponsors real quick before we're done here,
Are you
right?
going to read them off again?
Yeah, sure.
Really good.
Why not?
Are you going to? 'Cause
I'm
you're really
going
good
to,
at
yes.
it. Okay, go.
The Downtowner Saloon, Captain Mike's, Lucci's Grandview, Union Park Tavern, The Pine Blossom, Frank Steiner, Faded Barbershop for Men, and Lulu Birds.
Lettering
Thank you
machine.
so much. What's that?
The lettering machine.
Oh, and the lettering machine.
Luigi's.
Pizza Kitchen. Well, we've got to plug them.
You weren't valedictorian. were you?
Thanks, Valeo's, for the pizza.
Oh, yes. Special shout out to Special shout out to Valeo's for bringing some pizza here, and they'll be on an upcoming episode of the Ktown Connects podcast.
Well, you gave away the spoiler. Yeah, that's what happened. They thought they were going to be on the show today. and
Right.
Actually,
I got to ask you guys a question.
Uh-oh.
On a scale of 1 to 10, and all the guests you've had, where do we rank?
Right below Lenny Palmer.
So, Elmo, we got, it's good to have goals. We got that.
All right, that does it for K-Town Connects. We want to thank everyone for listening.
Thank you,
Be
guys.
sure you drop us a line and enter that
Thank
raffle.
you.
I gotta go.
And thanks you guys for coming in. And we'll see you next. What are we doing here, Donny?
We're trying to connect Kenosha.
I'm from Kenosha, I say Kenosha, that great big busy town. Right in the middle of the USA, between the New York Harbor and the San Francisco Bay. I'm from Kenosha, I say Kenosha, that great big busy town. Right in the middle of the USA, between the New York Harbor and the San Francisco Bay. Well, the wonderful East, the beautiful West, that's the right place to be from. Sing it so loud of it because we're so proud of it, Kenosha, my hometown. Give me a beer. No. Oh.
This is so full of
Yeah.
crap. I mean, I'm sorry. We've been down this road. We know how this works. You guys get the hate mail this time.
But
These guys are good.